Tonight on Highway Patrol.
A violent robbery over some clothes.
Hi, Mum. 623 is here.
Yep. An officer who's been held at gunpoint.
623 is here.
So I just received a call for a coke lab in Grove Park, so we're going to head there.
623 is here.
In Davis, SWAT operator Grant Clyde has been alerted to a burglary in progress at a Davis laundromat.
Not yet.
Whatever happened to jewellery and cash? These thieves must be keen. Officers set up a cordoned area as tensions rise between suspects and officers. Operator Grant Clyde is attempting to start negotiations.
Well, they're going to cut it off. I'll make an attempt to negotiate quickly by going
their
inside.
weapons at us.
If they shoot, then we're good to shoot, alright? I'll make this attempt and we'll see how we go.
It's late afternoon for Los Santos, but SWAT operator James Gregg is hard at work when he gets alerted to an officer's panic button at the San Andreas power facility. James is en route with his lights and sirens to this urgent call. When he arrives on the scene, negotiations have already started, and officers are working towards the safe release of the officer.
Give him some space, they're going to shoot him. They want to do a swap, whatever you got in custody. I'm just trying to confirm. What are the names of the guys in the custody?
The guys in custody have been here for like 40 minutes, so they're being released on time served.
There has been a couple miscommunications between the suspects. They seem to have taken the officer hostage in exchange for a mate who was arrested at an earlier incident on unrelated charges. He has since been released.
To the guys they got in custody to give them a radio when they're released so that they can join 22.1 and let them know that they've been released. Alright, one moment, I'm just relaying this. 22.1.
I'm on a nearby rooftop. Two suspects.
Now, if there's any shots fired over there or anything happens to that officer, we've got people surrounding the area, so no one's going to come out alive, okay?
Officers continue the negotiations, with tensions rising, and with the suspects' unpredictability, officers make it clear they have surrounded the power facility.
Where is our suspect?
So I've actually been told they've already been released before they even get radios, maybe. Could you try to call them, maybe? Call them on the phone?
I believe an AP pistol.
Alright, if they try to leave, you can pursue. If they shoot the officer, take them out. Otherwise, hold positions.
Yeah, I've just got a great view here from my roof.
In Davis, SWAT operator Grant is negotiating with those responsible for a late-night laundromat burglary. Grant thinks he might be able to get the officers involved home safe. Negotiations continue with the unapologetic laundry-stealing suspect.
Hi, Mum.
I really hope I'm able to find the pair myself.
So that was one of you boys dropping their gun?
Oh, we've got people on the ground here. Look to be security.
Shots back a little bit.
Shots fired, shots fired.
Can you ask your mate not to point the gun at me? I don't even have a gun in my hand.
Yeah, just don't point him at him. He's a bit scared. I think he's just doing it in case he's trying any funny business.
One of them to hand over a gun. If we're just able to clear some room, get 2 vehicles available for pursuit, possibly. Suspect out.
Officers engage in a high-speed pursuit with the suspect.
Now,
Shortly,
we're a bit
however,
the other
things turn for
P1.
the worst.
We're a P1.
Bike was leaving. You ready?
There is a bike.
The man on the bike had been
Go
shooting
that
at
bike, go that
officers.
bike, yep.
However, Grant faces another issue.
I don't have ammo for my fucking gun.
Grant realizes he's ran out of ammunition. However, thanks to his quick thinking, he is able to outwit the suspect.
Taser deployed, one in custody.
The suspect was tased and taken into police custody. 2 out of the 3 suspects were arrested. The suspects were both charged with robbery, evasion of police and serious assault on an officer. They both spent 5 months in prison and were released on probation. It's all in a day's work for the Los Santos Police Department. It's a late night for Sheriff Sergeant Michael Schmidt. However, he is alerted to a house robbery in Vespucci. He's hoping everyone on the scene is alright, as you can never know what an intruder may be capable of.
Alright, so we've just received a call for a house robbery just down in the south area of Vespucci. We're just meeting up with a SWAT officer to potentially breach and detain an individual if they are inside.
Sergeant Schimt cuts his siren on approach as to not alert anyone who may be on the premises. He meets up with SWAT operator Grant to determine how they'll handle the situation.
Cut signs on approach to try not to spook the bloke if he's inside.
816, we're arriving on scene.
Unable to note any vehicles on the premises, officers believe it may be a false alarm. However, they stay alert until they're able to determine the premises is clear. Officers locate the broken door and stack up, ready to breach the premises.
Are you going in?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm with you.
Hey, I just found a coke lab, 423. One's running from me.
Alright, house appears to be clear, and we just received an urgent call, so we'll move on with that then. So I just received a call for a coke lab in Mirror Park, so we're going to head there. Code 3.
Whilst breaching the house, officers receive an urgent call from a detective who's alerted he's located a cocaine processing facility. Michael and Grant clear the house and make their way to the detective's location.
Probably one of, if not the most dangerous situations for an officer.
With shots being fired upon officers, Schmidt responds urgently with his lights and sirens to the scene. At the San Andreas Power Facility, SWAT operator James and Chief of Police Tony are negotiating with two hostage takers for the safe release of an officer who's been held at gunpoint. So far, negotiations have been successful between the two parties.
I'll let you leave this little spot here, alright?
Tony and James were able to guarantee the officer's safe return in exchange for free passage away from the area. With a high-speed pursuit following the incident, officers have to work very diligently as not to put anyone from the public in harm's way. The suspect is making a desperate attempt to flee, but with the police right behind them, it almost seems impossible for them to get out of this scenario. Then suddenly the Air 1 helicopter loses control and crash lands into the water.
Yeah, Air 1, are you okay?
Yeah, well, he's in the water. Air 1 is in the water.
Okay.
I'm gonna veer off.
Yeah, someone go recover Air 1.
Recovery teams were dispatched to the helicopter's locations and officers continued chasing the suspect.
Get some good stuff. I'll let you know if they change direction.
The suspects continue. Officers are hoping to end this pursuit soon before anyone else is harmed. With dwindling hope and the police right behind them, the suspects make a bold move and head towards the beach.
Yeah, SWAT triple run. Is anyone available to pick me up at the hospital? I'm cuffed, so I can't pick me up.
When on the beach, the suspects ditch their vehicle in the water and head into the ocean. They make camp on a sandbar just off the shore.
They're in the water, Police swimming. Yeah.
I've got eyes on an individual on the coast.
While on the sandbar, the suspects call in for a couple friends to come help them. They try to ram officers' vehicles. However, officers are able to overpower the suspect's friend.
Black sports cars now on the beach heading north down Great Ocean Front.
Are they going to attempt to push police into the ocean?
We're getting picked up by a boat.
Whoa.
Yeah, not there.
Being successful, the suspect is surrounded and surrenders himself to police.
I-16, we're arriving on scene.
The suspect's friend is taken into custody and is charged with hindering police, reckless driving and a firearm was later located on the suspect. However, the other two suspects were picked up by a speedboat as police continue their investigation. Recovery crews were successful with their work, and luckily no one was badly injured. It's a late night in Los Santos as Sheriff Sergeant Michael Schmidt responds to a detective's call for help at a cocaine processing facility after shots had been fired towards the officer. Schmidt arrives in Mirror Park and assists SWAT operators in attempting to locate the suspect, who'd fled officers at the processing facility. Schmidt makes his way into the canal as that was the last location officers had seen the person on the bike.
I-16, we're down in the canals now behind where you guys are. We'll see if anyone can run down.
Watching them for a while, they've been stashing produce. I've got his bike here that he pulled out.
We'll check this train tunnel. Maybe he's run up inside the train tunnel.
The detective on scene makes it known he is shutting down and investigating the facility. Schmidt continues his hunt.
We're just checking up inside the train tunnel in case the bloke's going up through here.
Okay, I don't think he would have ran this far by now, but we'll just come to the exit. Yeah, no, he's definitely hasn't gone this way. I'm very interested to know where he's gone then.
Officers weren't able to locate the individual. Schmidt heads back to the scene to assist with cordoning off the processing facility. Detective Chase and his partner are hard at work processing the facility and are hoping this leaves a dent in the drug trade, though they are not optimistic.
We've just had a drug bust down here. So what's just happened is I've been surveilling this area alongside my undercover assistant there, Oliver Reed, my name being Chase Fisher, a lieutenant with the San Andreas Detective Bureau. We have been surveying this area for a while now, watching people coming and going, namely this one individual who kept coming to the back of this building. I decided to investigate and pulled my cruiser into this driveway here, where I found this table being utilized. Now, a lot of the ingredients on it are seeming to indicate that it's used to produce cocaine. So, we attempted to stop the individual, however they fled on a bike with a partner of theirs, who actually struck me with that bike. It's not great, but he did it. Now we're just securing the scene, processing the vehicle, and securing the table, just to make sure that, well, we document all this evidence, don't allow stuff like this to hit the street ever again, because, well, I mean, coke, should this true test positive for coke, ruins families, and we really do not want it on our street. While this is a small producer, we hope that this will at least cut down on some of the production, give them a scare for a while, but I mean, with this city and the amount that's hit in the streets, we really just don't know.
Police continue their investigation into the person who was on the bike. Detectives shut down the cocaine processing facility.